punch some buttons instead of having the goals.
On iRacing. So we see him go to the top of the charts here, just edging out Matt Cresci for provisional pole here in qualifying. And it's really cool to see NASA making a name in the esports world and giving a place for not just NASA members and drivers to go race and win contingency and stuff, but also allowing esport pros to run with us. It's cool to have big names like that with us.
Well, and it's cool to see a lot of the different big names like SCCA is doing this, Grid Life's doing this. A lot of all of us are kind of transitioning. I noticed that Global Time Attack, we're all kind of having to really shift our business models to, keep everybody engaged and having fun. And hopefully, when we get back to the physical world of racing, we'll be able to apply some lessons learned here. But Will, I see us keeping this around forever.
Yeah, my initial, it's funny, I'll talk about this every week probably in this broadcast. I started this with the idea that for a small Texas Tuesday night league, and really quickly it grew into this, and we had 127 registrations for tonight. And I can't believe how well received it's been. I love that it's given everybody something fun to do on Tuesday nights, and something to look forward to, and something for the serious guys to test all week and get good at. And we've got great partners on board. We've got a race director sitting watching the race right now. We've got a production team put to work. I mean, it's been so cool to see how well received it's been and how big it's been. And you're right, it went from this Texas Tuesday night get together to this big national thing that should be equally sustainable even after we get back to going to and doing real live events.
And then I know last week during the pro race, there was some controversy in the last lap there. How did that end up working out?
Yeah, so the race director for the pro race, Clifton Winkleman, decided that per the NASA CCR Club Codes and Regulations that was a punt. So
Oh,
unfortunately, that got Austin Cobb disqualified from his win at COTA last week. Now, I'm glad that you brought that up. It's one thing that's been a huge topic of discussion the last week is how the simulation exacerbates a lot of incidents, and it's really tough when you have to deal with something like we saw that, and in real life, two guys putting on a driving clinic like that with their racecraft, I think could have easily driven out of an incident like that. The simulation exacerbating the contact and making it worse than it might have been in real life
hmm.
is really tough to deal with from the driving side. But the benefit of that is folks that learn to deal with that and drive extra clean are going to be much better drivers in the real world, being able to set stuff up even that much closer and play that much closer and that much cleaner and that much safer is going to make for even better drivers in the real world. So it might be one part that the purest driver doesn't like about the simulation, but it's something that's going to make everybody drive cleaner, especially if they want to win contingencies and monies in this series.
Well, yeah, you got to race clean. You have to. What is it? You have to first finish, or to finish first, you have to first finish.
That's right. We
So
say we
going
say
out
that.
and yeah, and of course my old salt about the you can't win it in the first corner, but you certainly can throw it all away very easily. And
Huge,
then and
huge.
then Will, tell me about, we were talking earlier in some of the coverage about the, incident points and how that affects you when you're actually in the simulation and, what kind of incident points you can get. Remember, there was something about limit lines and contact. How does that work while you're actually in the simulation racing?
Yeah, it's cool. So iRacing automatically draws track limits. And if you drive outside of those track limits, it'll give you an incident point. If you drive really far out of those and cut the course, it'll tell you right in the game, hey, you cut the course too much. You need to slow down and give back the time that you made up. And it automatically measures that you made up a second and a half cutting a corner and makes you slow down to give back that second and a half. Additionally, there's body contact incident points, and they range from 1 to 4 points depending on how bad the contact was. So a small little bump's going to be a point, a smash is going to be 4 points, and they all add up. We've got it set to 50 incident points till the driver gets a warning. That warning is a drive-through penalty through the pits. So if you rack up 50 points from driving off track and smashing into people and creating some damage, well, you're going to be doing a drive-through through the pits. Additionally, Additionally, one cool thing involving incident points is that we're tying them into the season championship points. So for every incident point you gather, you get you lose point 0.1 championship points. So if you're having a really close battle with somebody, it's huge incentive to drive them clean. If you're racing them week after week, you can't be banging fenders and pushing each other off the track, or you're going to lose a chance to win your spot in the season championship.
Well, that seems fair to me. It looks like we are almost done with qualifying. Wyatt Gooden out front with Matt Cressy just behind. John Allen, another familiar name from our broadcast. Andres Prieto, Forenz Arabian, another familiar name. Eric Foss, a very experienced pro driver there, doing well in the real world P6 currently. Then Gun Kim and Adam Foss, not just ahead of Gun. Then Harry Voigt and Mario Jukic. He is right there in P10 so far. And you can see, wow, that's funny. So, Will, this is something I had to get used to. Sometimes a car will stop on track and then disappear, just like someone had, snapped their fingers there.
Yeah, normally we're getting ready to call a wrecker or tell a corner marshal to put out a certain flag, and iRacing does all that for us, and these guys go get a new car, or in this case, exit the session.
All right, qualifying is closing up. You can see all the brightly colored canopies. Ken Kurtz had told us in the past that he had created special pit uniforms for all of his guys. There's someone laying a little bit of stripe there on the track entrance, the hot pits. Kind of fun. Or actually, that was on the main straight, so you can see the flaggers waving there. And this just blows me away. The views you have. You can look around. You see a pickup truck parked there. Safety truck. You can see. They even took the time to put in RVs around the track with that weird. Those RV graphics that no one can really understand where they came from or who came up with those. That was a topic of discussion I was following. Quarantine, you start getting a little bit esoteric on everything.
Yeah, it
So,
looks like Matt Cressy stopped on the front straight. This is we're doing a standing start for this race, so there's a good chance drivers
uh,
are trying to nail their opportunity at testing the standing start in this car on this particular front straight.
yep, see some nice RVs there. It looks like a couple of Cruise America units. Not sure, but this just blows me away how good the iRacing folks have made this whole simulation. It's just like being there. I mean, I'm not in a broadcast booth. I'm at my home, but it still feels just like the booth when we're at the actual track. All right, so I believe qualifying is closing up. John Allen with a flyer. He just took P1 away from Wyatt Gooden, and then Cressy is right there. Prieto, Arabian, Foss, Fosnock, Gun Kim, a perennial contender here in NASA Sim Racing, Harry Voigt, and Mario Jukic. That's your top 10. So it looks like the buttons are being manipulated to give us a race start here. Again, it'll be a 30-minute race, not by number of laps, but just a 30-minute race. How many laps do you think that'll be, Will?
Man, at a minute 38, I'm not the mathematician of the group, but I will comment on how aesthetically pleasing all those easy ups perfectly aligned are.
That never happens in the real world. There's always some super janky easy up with someone's weight set hanging off of it. And then the wind comes
Yeah,
up and they start flying all over the paddock. So
yeah. I
yeah,
remember
this
back in
is
the 90s, we had to actually make it a rule that you couldn't tie your easy ups down with gas jugs. Here's
yeah.
our results, John. Take us through
All
them.
right, here we go. John Allen is our top qualifier with a 138, 231, just behind. Only, let's see, 64 thousandths behind is Wyatt Gooden, then Matt Cressy, Andres Prieto, then Forenz Arabian, Eric Foss, Adam Fosnacht, Gun Kim, Harry Voigt, Mario Jukic, Alex Schwarzenberger, Justin Piscatel, another pro shoe, they're right there. Then Nate Olson, Dan Williams, Austin Edwards, Brandon Pandos of the famous Racing Pandas family, Ismael Basso, and Jason Walsh. That's on my screen, your top 18 qualifiers. All right,
So
less than a
now,
minute till we go green. So, Will, tell me how all this works.
yeah, so they're sitting in their pit stall and they get to review their times and their fast laps and their video and whatnot, replays, and then they hit grid and the car goes to grid. Once all the cars are populated, we'll get the lights. All the red lights will come on and then it'll go green and we'll be racing down to the turn two hairpin.
Green, green, green. Well, this is a cool shot. You can even see the iRacing hauler there was in the background. We have seen those for years, and they've got it done up with proper livery. I mean, the track is totally realistic. You can't see the octagon where it shakes when you're sitting in it. And the octagon, of course, is there with the big Yokohama banner. That's a very, very old building, and I was broadcasting there, and we could. It's a little might need a little carpentry work because it was shaking around when the wind was blowing. But what a beautiful track, great character, totally awesome. 15 seconds away from green, folks. Once again, this is the NASA Sim Racing League. This is the club race from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. All right, we are waiting for the start. That's going to be John Allen out in front. And we're watching for the lights. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it. Off they go. Nice Bernies there. I'm not talking Bernie Sanders. I'm talking burnouts going up the hill a little bit down into turn 2. Looks like a pretty clean start. They're probably going to go 4 or 5 wide in my experience. Top 3 with a nice breakout, a good hole shot on the rest of the field. And here comes the excitement. Let's see, Will. What's the over-under on if they'll get through clean?
Man, I see a lot of cars making up some time there in the back. It looks mostly clean as our leaders get out through turn 3. Nice and clean, a nice little breakaway with John Allen, Wyatt Gooden, and Matt Cresci headed through turn 4. Eric Foss chasing them down.
Now, do they have to lift going up the hill to avoid a sound violation?
No sound and no fog in beautiful WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca in Monterey, California, as they go by the sound booth right now.
Yeah. And folks, if you don't know, there's usually some pretty serious sound restrictions at Laguna when you're there, and often people will come up with these crazy exhaust systems to try and not bust the sound meter and all kinds of strange things, and people popping out of bushes with the sound meters where you don't expect them. But what a great facility! And here we go down into the corkscrew, hairy turn there. You basically can only see over the hood of the car, and you aim for one of the oak trees and hope that everything works out okay. Top 3 with a nice breakaway coming down into the final turns before the straightaway. All right, we're watching the running order here as they are coming down the track.
Running order's a little off right now. It's shuffling. That's going to be John Allen, our leader. It looks like, actually, it looks like Wyatt Gooden got it from John.
All right, there we go. All right, so we did have some wrecked cars there, and that's why you see it. So it is like kind of Thanos snapping his fingers, and cars will just disappear off the course. So we're starting to learn how that works a little better. But there's your first lap complete. We're working lap number 2, 30-minute race, 2 minutes elapsed so far. Wyatt Gooden, John Allen, and Matt Cresci all out in front as they go under the bridge there. This is always an exciting turn here where if you really blow it, I saw this during the historics when someone carried way too much speed and just yeeted it right into the tires. And you can see a lot of dirt's happening there, but a lot of clean racing up at the front of the grid. Looks like Gooden is starting to put a little bit of distance on John Allen and Cresci, but they are all right together. Right now, P4 is Eric Foss, Andres Prieto, Gun Kim, Adam Fosnock, Harry Voigt, Foreign Zarabian, and Maro Jukic. That's your top 10. Once again, folks, we would like to thank our sponsors. You can see it up there at the top right of your screen. Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport. They are sponsoring the NASA Sim Racing Leagues. This is the club race from Monster. I almost said it again. It's from WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca.
You know, I was hassled every time I didn't say Mazda Raceway for many, many years under that contract. So it's literally been beat into us.
I didn't see it as a hassle, but I could almost feel John Dunin's disapproving glare coming up at me when I blew it. So all good, all good. We love our relationship with Mazda. John's doing great now over at IMSA, and it's cool to see our little world of racers. Same good folks all over the place. Always a great big family whenever we come to the track. We hope to be able to welcome you back to the physical track soon. But again, we are racing online with iRacing. Wyatt Gooden and John Allen right there. That's your top 2. Having a great battle. And I can't believe the camera angles we're able to get. These would be physically impossible on the track. Like this one right here, the Grasshopper cam.
Yep.
All right, we're
It's
seeing
really
a
cool.
little bit of, again, some shuffling over there in the results, and that just made glitch happening here and there. It showed Dan Williams, our NASA Rocky Mountain director, coming out in the front, but I think that may have been, again, the Thanos snap that put him into the pits or something.
Yeah, the way I understand that scoreboard is that when somebody behind the leaders resets, crashes and resets into the pits, it puts them in front of it on the scoreboard. So bear with us. We got Wyatt Gooden leading John Allen and Matt Cresci down the corkscrew. Looks like Matt's worked hard to catch back up to John Allen. And any type of battle in this top three, as we see, let's fourth, fifth, and sixth place catch back up to him. We know Eric Foss has the ability to strike on any one of these folks, so this will be interesting.
Well, and we're seeing a lot of the same names kind of up at the top of the order, and it's really cool to see, pro racers, also pro iRacers, and our club racers that have, been with us forever, and it's cool to see them all mixing together. I know in some of the other leagues that I've been looking at, you can actually race with some of the pros; they'll just pop in. But I did see that Kimi Räikkönen is not a big fan of simulator racing. He was he was saying, "I don't like to do simulator racing. It's not like real racing. Leave me alone. I know what I'm doing."
That's right.
All right, folks, our timing feed is coming back up, and you can start to look at those gaps and those intervals. That really starts to tell the story. That group of the top three of Gooden, Allen, and Cresci, they're about a second ahead or 2 seconds ahead of Eric Foss. And then Andres Prieto is 2.5 seconds behind Foss, and Gun Kim is almost 3 seconds behind Andres. So a little bit of a spread happening there as we get down through P10. We're looking for hard chargers, of course. We see right now that Jared Zackham is up 12 positions from where he started, currently running in P20. But remember, Will, how many cars started this race?
There was 60 cars put into the session. It appears we're having some funny stuff where folks sign up and
Whoa!
nice.
Derek Quint with a big old bunch of oppo. But he kept it off the wall. Nice job.
Yeah.
Busy
There was
hands.
60 cars put into this session. So a lot of excitement, a lot of close racing, especially in the Spec Global MX5 Cup car. So good stuff going on here.
Yeah, and great big fields are a lot of fun, especially when you're all in the same cars. But I mean, big shout out to our friends at the 24 Hours of Lemons. They do huge fields regularly, and that looks, that is just a ton of fun and really well run organization there. So that's also really fun to do. So hopefully, all of us in our racing world will be able to welcome you all back soon to the racetrack, because I know we are jonesing to get back out there. But for tonight, this
Unfortunately,
is the
she
national.
right on Wyatt Gooden's bumper, and Andres Prieto, Gun Kim, and Eric Foss battling it out right behind them.
Ooh, John must have had a pretty good shunt. Well, we're trying to figure that one out, but John Allen must have had a little bit of a big one there, a moment as we call them. Brown flag violation. Oh, and a big hit there. That's a terrible place to be stalled, right there in turn 11. Whew, put her in reverse, baby. Get out of there. All right, you see all kinds of excitement there. That's our leader, I believe, Wyatt Gooden right now. They're showing Eric Foss. That's the battle for P6, 7, and 8 with Foss, Fosnacht, and Arabian. They're all right there together. You can see they're all stuck right together. So that is the battle for kind of the top 10, the bottom half of the top 10. Gooden and Cresci now right together. A little bit of separation. Cresci's about a second back from Gooden, and Andres Prieto is about a second back from Cresci. And Gun Kim is starting to gain on Andres Prieto to challenge him for the last step on the podium. Harry Voigt, he's about 4 seconds behind Gun Kim. On board right now with Gun Kim. He, of course, is trying to chase down Andres Prieto. He's about only 3/4 of a second away from Andres, so that's probably Andres there in the red car. Whoa, Gun got a little loose under braking. Coming into, I believe that is turn 2. Very tricky complex here. If you get it wrong, you lose a ton of speed. That is a high-speed zone because you're coming off the front straight into 2 and now back under the bridge. And this is one where you can lose it too. And then you have to keep momentum here because you're going uphill all the way to the corkscrew, and it's a big climb.
Yeah, the last 3 days, John, we've been doing a lot of testing, running this tournament style, making sure it was going to work great.
Oh, and Eric Foss crashed. Look at him going down the order. What a bummer. On board with Eric. Oh, right where he lost it. Bang, he gets hit again. Oh, no. Oh, that's a terrible place to be. That's a sinking feeling. All right, back live on the leaders right now. Gooden and Cresci right together. Andres Prieto also making up time. And Gun Kim is right there too. So we're starting to see a battle happening for that top four. Harry Voigt's still pretty far back from Gunn. Right now, about 9.5 minutes elapsed out of our 30-minute race. Working lap 6 right now.
Yeah, John, the last 3 days we've been running these test tournaments to test this new format, and Matt Cresci and Gun Kim have run in every single one of them and been at the pointy end of the field. So they've got a lot of laps in this actual car at this track with very similar weather settings. So look for them to be good at the end too. And if they get to race each other, they've been racing each other super, super clean, super exciting, really close. They know each other's good and weak spots at this track. It's going to be exciting.
Showed you a little bit of Eric Foss there. There he is again. He had a big shunt, lost quite a few positions now in P24, but I don't think he's going to be down there for long. All right, we are
Looks
looking
like our
for
current.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that, John. Looks
No
like
sweat.
our current hard chargers, Ken Kurtz, making up 12 spots up to 16th from his starting position right now.
There he is in the number 29, the 29 outdoor gear, of course, over in American Canyon, California, big sponsor of our NorCal program, run by the great Jerry Kunzman. He is out there at 29 outdoor gear. Ken is representing their shop. I personally am a customer there as well. Lots of neat toys. All right, folks. Well, we are now working lap number 7, 11 minutes out of a 30-minute contest elapsed. Wyatt Gooden putting on a oh, there's a big one. All right, that was Derek Quint. He had the big Dorifto earlier, so he must have done another clutch kick.
I think that was Dylan Quint earlier, actually. It's a bummer to see both Quints have an issue, both in turn 2. They're matching liveries. It's a real bummer.
Must be a family thing, right?
Yeah, I have to give them a big shout out. 2 family members that have been running the number 3 and the number 8 since they were kids in carts. Really cool. Love seeing
Wow.
family members run number 3 and 8. The throwback to the Earnhardts, and I love it.
Very nice. Of course, we know it's raise hell and praise Dale, baby.
Yeah.
All right, folks, we are live. The NASA Sim Racing League, sponsored by Toyo Tires, Hawk Performance, and Competition Motorsport. We are live from WeatherTech Raceway. I didn't say Mazda Raceway, Laguna Seca. I'm John Lindsay, broadcasting from unincorporated Yolo County with friend Will Falls in Austin, Texas. Of course, the races are brought to you by our good friend PJ Losi from iRacersResource.com. He's our producer tonight. We usually have the great Roman Weissman, who is producing our online races, with the assist from Aldrin Villanueva, who does all of NASA's sweet contingency plans. Get yourself a membership and get you some of that, because there is all kinds of deals to be had once you have your NASA membership, and you can access our iRacing leagues and the NASA Sim Racing leagues if you have your membership.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to talk about real quick, John, is the Club League. We broadcast the first week as a test. The Club League series isn't set up to be broadcast all season. The Pro Series, with an entry fee, pays for its own broadcasts, and we're going to continue to do the Pro League. But tonight was just a test, and big thanks to PJ and iRacers Resource for doing that. When we post this video, down below in the comments, we're going to have a link for a donation to the broadcast team for doing this great work tonight and bringing us this broadcast. So give a shout out to iRacers Resource. Smash the like button on Facebook and go check them out. We're doing some cool driver profile stuff, as well as all our results and season championship points on their website. So there'll be a lot more on iRacers Resource to come this year.
Yeah, and Will, the evolution of broadcasting is just crazy to me. So when I started, we were in, a formal booth with a truck, with cameramen, with all the the camera operators all around the track. It was a 6-figure plus production. And now you and I are sitting at home with PJ working, on our production, and all of it is being done online. So it just keeps getting simpler and simpler and simpler.
Yeah, it's really fun. A lot of people send us notes on what they think would make it better, and we try to make a lot of changes with the scoreboard and the tracking and the names and stuff. Pretty soon we'll have people's pictures for what, like right now it's displaying Matt Cresci in the bottom left. We'll have a picture at PJ operating all the in-car cameras, the trackside cameras, as well as our drone shots, all from his broadcast booth outside of Chicago.
It is super cool. And also a hat tip with Roman and Aldrin. They do an amazing job for us. And really course, we have kind of our NASA Triple Crown. We have the Champs, we have the 25 Iron. Of course, we have Hyperfest, which was supposed to be taking place in July, and that is a great event. If you can get to Hyperfest, it is an absolute experience. It's a bucket list. All right, folks, we did get the call that we are halfway. 15 minutes elapsed in our 30-minute contest. Again, this is the NASA Sim Racing League, and this is the Club League tonight. 60-something racers started, and in the Highlander format, only one will win. Right now, Wyatt Gooden, number 17, putting on an absolute clinic. He's a second and a half